If you had made a terrible mistake in the past that you regret more than anything, would you risk doing the same thing to save a loved one? And by regret, I mean you have spent over a year kicking yourself and hoping that it was just a bad dream. A really terrible position to be in, right? Well, guys, that's where I'm at because I guess my past mistakes have come back to haunt me. By that, I don't mean a person who's mad or something like that. No. But the same exact situation that led me to making the mistake. Last time I ended up hurting my best friend more than anything and almost destroyed our bond even, so I'm hesitating and I'm confused. So I figured that I should ask for help here. Well, let me first make the situation clear. So I'm Riz. I'm 31. I've recently discovered something that has put me in a terrible position. I live with my boyfriend Izuku, and before I discovered what I did, I was very happy. I live quite close to my best friend Eri and her husband Kevin. I'll get straight to the point. About a week ago, I saw Kevin with another woman. Yeah, and it did not look like they were friends or workmates. It looked like they were dating and were a happy couple. They didn't do anything inappropriate per se, or at least I didn't see them do that. But it was clear that they were more than just friends. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why am I waiting and writing here instead of telling my best friend this? No matter what, she's my best friend and she should understand, right? Well, wrong. Going to her comes with a huge risk because of what happened in the past. So, me and Eri have been best friends for almost all our life. I met her probably towards the end of preschool after her parents shifted to our part of the town, and we became instant friends. Honestly, she's more of a sister, as she has been through everything with me and has been there for me whenever I needed her. She's never let me down and is the perfect embodiment of an angelic friend. She's the kind of friend for whom you could hold a mountain for 100 years. That's how much she means to me, and I hope I mean the same to her. Like I already said, she's done a lot for me, right? She single-handedly never let anyone bully me and was the person who I turned to for advice. She was always a little mature for her age, and honestly, I don't know where I would have ended up without her. I owe a lot of my success to her, so obviously I cannot let a friend like her down, right? Well, I did, and I don't think that there'll be anything that I regret more in my life than that. At this point, I think it's pretty abundantly clear that me and Eri were inseparable. So, of course, we went to the same high school and college. We never hid anything from each other, and one day she told me that she liked a guy named Jack, who had a class with her, so of course I got to work. Eri has always been a little shy when it comes to things like this, so I really had to push her. One day, she finally asked him out, and I saw them grow closer and closer to each other. Eri and Jack were perfect for one another, and I was very happy for them. I thought that they were going to last forever, until one day I saw something that changed the game. I think about it, it was a few days after their 3-year anniversary that I saw Jack holding some other girl's hand. They looked very close, and she could have been his sister, but I knew for sure that he didn't have a sister. He had no family except his parents, or at least that's what I knew. I was so protective of Eri that it ended up backfiring on the two of us. Without thinking much, or confronting him, I just told Eri that I saw him cheating on her with another woman, and he had also lied to Eri by telling her that he was with his guy friend. So it pretty much proved my suspicion. When Jack came to visit her in the afternoon, Eri took out all of her anger on him, and did not even give him a chance to speak. Both of them had tears, and Eri made sure that she told him how much she hated a person like him. When he tried to clear everything up, Eri slapped him, and asked him to never show his face to her ever again. Eri was not the type of person who got mad easily, so seeing her this mad, it's kinda scary. Jack looked heartbroken and threw the flowers that he brought for Eri on the floor and went home. A week later, I would come to heavily regret this day, since me and my assumptions played the most crucial role in their breakup. So obviously, Eri was very sad, but she understood that it was a better thing to do to dump a cheater than him pretend to love her. But Eri, she did love him very much and probably had planned on marrying him. Then, about a week later, tragedy struck when we learned that the woman I had seen Jack with was his cousin, whose family his parents had kicked out. He wasn't supposed to be in contact with him, so he was secretly meeting her and didn't want to tell a soul. When his cousin found out what happened, she came to tell us the truth about the meeting, and both Eri and I were shocked. Honestly, as soon as I heard this, my heart broke. I started to cry out loud on the inside because this meant that I had destroyed my best friend's relationship over a suspicion that ended up being false. Before Erie could do anything, I went to Jack to apologize, but he refused to even speak to me. I asked him to give Erie a chance and to hate me for the rest of his life, but he told me to duck off. Of course, Erie tried to, and she kept trying to, probably for a month, but she could not get him back. All she could do was regret listening to me and hate herself for leaving him. He told her that she did not trust him and that she would always listen to me, and this would happen again. I can't explain how sorry I was, and am, from making her sad. A few months later, though, Erie started keeping a little bit of a distance from me and started to ignore me altogether. A few weeks later, she stopped speaking to me, and the next few months were some of the worst. But I kept apologizing and promising that I was not going to let anything like this happen again. Then a few months later, she finally stopped hating me and told me that she was just taking it easy, and she didn't want to blame me. We became close again, but the trauma from the incident never left both of us. Erie did not even start thinking about dating for a long time, and only did it because Kev was really persistent. He was funny, he was charming, and a loving guy. This time I let Erie do her thing, and they became a couple, and they were great together. So much so that when Erie came to me confused about what she should do if Kev proposed, I advised her to say yes. She was very confused, so I let her decide for herself, but I did push her a little to do so because sometimes she can be very indecisive. Now I'm very much so regretting the decision because of how Kev has turned out to be, or at least that's what I saw. So, I already mentioned this last week. I happened to see Kev getting cozy with another woman who cannot be his relative. Now that you fully understand my position, you know why I did not go to my best friend. Honestly, I didn't even believe it at first because Kev is a very nice husband. So, I just went home and pretended that it did not happen because of what happened in the past. But I could not stop thinking about it. Knowing what it would do to Erie, it was actually true. Honestly, I believe that it were true, it would be better to her to find out through me, as she could at least hate me and then get depressed, and I could not just let it go. So 2 days later, I lightly tailed Kev, only to find him doing the same darn thing with the same darn woman in a different restaurant. They were having a fun time, and although nothing exactly inappropriate happened, once again, it did make sure that he was cheating on her. Honestly, there's no way that I'm wrong about this twice. Kev is 100% a cheater, I know it. But I don't know how I should tell him or even if I should. I've spent the last few days thinking about it, and I'm scared of creating something like last time. What if there's a genuine reason behind all of this, just to create another Jack scenario once again? But this time, it won't just be a relationship, but Erie's marriage I will be destroying. This is literally causing me so much stress and anxiety that I feel like my brain is going to rip itself out, and I can't even tell my boyfriend. He's going to tell me to be honest, and that's just how he is, so I wanted to ask you guys what I should do. Should I tell her, or should I wait to see if there's something more to the story? Or should I just let it go? Guys, please help me out. What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. So today's story is wild. Can you imagine trying to look out for your friend only to find out that you were wrong about the whole thing? And then it's happening again for a second time? Anyways, guys, let's check out these two comments before we hop into the first update. Comment number 1 comes from Sayan. Wow, OP, you're stuck in quite a predicament, aren't you? But I think the answer is very simple. You should just tell your best friend what you saw. You don't have to tell her that he was directly cheating, and you can just say that it gave you a feeling that he was. I'm sure that kind of friend you have is going to understand your position, and even if she refuses to doubt her husband, she'll understand why you're doing this. You have a responsibility towards your friend. Running away from it is only going to make you more sad. Go to her, OP, and tell her the truth. Comment number 2 from Industry. She seriously does not deserve a friend like you, OP. You're seriously the worst person in her life. You not only ruined her relationship, but now you're aiming to ruin her marriage too. The fact that you're not confident at all tells me that you did not clearly see what you're assuming. Both times you only saw what you wanted to see, honestly. I think that you're unable to be happy for your friend, and every time you think she's doing well, you create a problem in her life. I have a friend like you, and it took me years to get that friend out of my group. So hopefully your friend sees the real you and runs away. Please, mind your own darn business. Update number 1. Hey guys, it's been over a week since my last update, and I thought I should let you guys know exactly what happened. I want to start this by thanking the people who gave me good suggestions and tried their best to help me. I'm genuinely very thankful for your support, and to the people who commented that I was jealous or was just trying to destroy her relationship. I just want to say that I only wanted to make her happy, and, well, who hurt you guys? Continuing, I spent a few more days after my post to make sure that I would not regret my decision. After that, my decision was final, and it was that I could not live if I hid the truth from my best friend. I would rather live making the wrong choice and telling her something that may be a wrong assumption. Of course, I was not going to tell her that I was not fully sure and wanted to know what she thought of it. Also, I did consider the fact that I may be poisoning her trust by doing this, but it was a risk that I was willing to take. So after a lot of thinking, I met with Erie to tell her the truth about her husband. I was very scared when I told her that there was something. She was happy to listen, but I calmed down a bit and told her everything in one go. She seemed concerned for a second and then cracked a smile and just went on to tell me that everything was all right and that Kev was absolutely not cheating on her. Oh man, here we go again. I was shocked and asked her why she thought that, and she was just sure that he could not cheat. I tried my hardest to make her understand what I'd seen, and she just kept smiling and refused to believe a dang word. Then she asked me the days that I'd seen him, and as soon as I told her, she perfectly described the woman. She then told me that this was one of Kev's clients, and he had already told her everything about it before he went. She was a really important one, so he was going to charm her a little and act like they were on a date. By the way, she explained it. It sounded to me that he did this a lot. She told me that she was okay with all this because she fully trusted her husband. So I told her that he could be easily using her by telling her all of this, and she starts getting really mad. Erie asked me if I was really trying to get her to doubt her husband, and I told her that I was just telling her the cold hard truth. Then she reminded me of what happened in the past with Jack, and I told her that there was nothing more I regretted than what happened with him and Jack. Oh, well, I told her that I wasn't trying to do that to her again. And at this point I had tears in my eyes, and I told her that I was scared that the person I pushed her to marry was not the one that she should be with. He's not who we thought she was. She also got teary-eyed and apologized for trying to blame me for the past. She said that she did not blame me or was mad at me for anything. She said that she understood how much I cared about her and how far I would go to protect her. But this time there was nothing to do. Her husband was not cheating, and I really could not argue more than that. And she made me promise to drop this once and for all. So unfortunately, this update is going to be my last one, as I don't think there's anything else that I can do here. I want to once again thank you guys for helping me, and I apologize if I ended up disappointing you guys. Hopefully I'm right, trusting in Erie's guidance and confidence of Kevin, as I don't have any other option. Update number 2. Hey guys, this is probably surprising. Well, let me start this by telling you guys that we're wrong. We were so wrong. I mean, writing this makes it pretty obvious that things did not go the way I wanted it to. Honestly, I wish I could have just let all this go and that Kevin was a faithful husband, but that's not really the case. No, it's been almost a month and I had genuinely given up after the last time. I didn't follow him or even think suspiciously of him, even once until last week. I said in my update I decided to trust Erie's confidence in her partner and told myself that everything was going to be alright. Well, that's what I truly believed, and until I ran into Kevin going on another date. This time he was with someone new, and I even managed to take a few photos of them going into a hotel. Yeah. Also, he seemed just as close as he was the last time with this new woman too. Just how many people was he sleeping with? This time, I did not hesitate at all and immediately went to Erie to give her the same proof. Like I already expected, she was really mad at me for doing this. She told me that I crossed a line. Even after she had told me to trust her, I had gone behind her back and done this to break up her marriage, it seems. I understood her positioning and the trauma that I've given her, but it really hurt me that she did not trust me enough to think that I believed her. I told her that I did believe her, but it happened to run into this, and she just refused to listen, guys. So, when I requested her, she took a look at the photos and told me that this was just another customer, and that she probably owned the hotel that they were entering. I couldn't believe it. She has complete faith in this man, like this man can do no wrong. I tried into the point where it felt like she was going to break our friendship and gave up on trying to convince her. I asked her to please trust me, and she told me that she really had. Otherwise, she would not have even heard me out. I had to give up as I had no other choice, but I only gave up in front of her. I'm not going to let him get away with this just because Erie trusts him. After this, I told my boyfriend everything that happened, and he was furious that I was just telling him now. So he also believes that Kevin is using her innocence and trust and wants to help me take him down. But we don't exactly have a plan on what to do. We're still trying to come up with something good, and I thought that you guys might be able to help us. How do I prove to her that Kev is not the person she thinks he is? How do I prove to her that's, her without using his clients and she's not going to believe anything involving them? Let me know what you guys think. Update number 3. Hey guys, it's been a month since my last updates, and things are going well. We finally came up with a plan, and I also had confirmation that Kevin actually cheated on Ari. But that's just a small part of the plan, see. I guess I should start with the most important news. First, my boyfriend, Izuku, my boyfriend dumped me. And we've been going through a lot. Really sad, right? Well, that's what everyone seems to think, and it's exactly what we planned. Obviously, this is all part of the plan we came up with thanks to many of your suggestions. So since I cannot convince Erie that her husband is sleeping with other people, I believe the best way would be showing her his true side. Well, I think there's no better proof than him trying to sleep with me. I thought that if I showed her proof of anyone else, she could easily overlook it or he could easily dismiss it. But both of them won't be able to dismiss me. So, I came up with a plan with my boyfriend, and obviously he's okay with it. Firstly, I had to make sure that Erie had not mentioned anything I had told her to Kev. I apologized to her and told her not to tell him anything if she hadn't, and she said that she had not said a word. She was so happy that I'd finally given up, and honestly it felt like a bad trick to her. But there was no other way. Then I tracked down one of the clients I had seen him with and used my boyfriend to get some information. Don't ask me how he got it, because he didn't tell me himself, which means he had to use his charm. He told her that Kev was his friend and had already told him about it, but he wanted to know if anything actually happened, and she told him that she just slept with him once, nothing more than that. So she was his client, and he was only half lying to Erie. He also recorded her voice, but I was sure that was not going to be enough. Then we pretended to break up. And Izuku was not happy with this step, but he did it because he also cared about Erie. He just wanted to lie and still stay with me, but I told him that's not gonna happen. See, we had to commit. So he moved with his friend for the time being, and we're only communicating once a day. Erie and Kevin were obviously devastated by all of this and have been trying their best to stop me from thinking about the breakup. I, on the other hand, have been acting very vulnerable for Kevin to pounce on. He's not fully made a move on me yet, but I'm sure he's going to. We just have to be patient, and I've been spending more and more time with them and almost live there at this point. The way Kevin has been acting, I'm sure it won't be long before he tries something. We just have to wait and watch and, I guess, find out. Hopefully this works, because I don't know what I'm going to do if it doesn't. Update number 4. Hey guys, we're back at it. So get this, it's been close to 2 months now, and this is everything that happened. Honestly, I almost gave up because it took almost a month to get to the first step. It was really, really hard. It became a test of our patience because it was tough staying apart and acting like I was enjoying Kev's company. But after a month of waiting, our plan finally started showing some results. I wanted Kev to start everything so that Kevin had no excuses. During the month, we got a lot closer, and slowly Kevin started trying to see if I wanted what he wanted. He slowly would start to flirt with me, and obviously I was recording our every conversation, and would always tell me how much better than Ari I was. After a little observation, I started to flirt back and started giving him little hints, which he did not take long to pick up on. But because I was so close to his wife, we had to make absolute sure that I wanted the same thing as him. I never directly told him anything, just hinted towards it very, very well. Yeah. One night, he came to my home to drop me off and tried to hint that he wanted to stay. But I acted like I didn't pick up on it, and after a while, he left. And the next day, we had the conversation I've been waiting to have with him since the start of his plan. He told me that he cannot help himself anymore and wants to be with me. He told me that he liked me more than her and that he could not help it anymore. He was laying it on thick, baby, and I was just sitting there giggling. I told him that if this was going to happen, I wanted him to be clear with me and told him about the time that I had seen him. It was this weird thing men do to sleep with women. Because he told me the entire truth about the affairs he's had and how he's been lying to Erie for years. He told me he was simply unhappy with her and everything after that, so I asked him for some time to think about this. And when he was away the next day, I immediately ran to Erie and told her everything. I showed her the mountain of evidence I collected, and of course Izuku helped me clear up everything. Erie was obviously shocked and shed tears as she was seeing that kind of person that she had married. She could only apologize to me for not believing me, and I told her that I did not mind. She also thanked me for being a good friend and going through all of this just to convince her. Then it's time to wait for Kevin to come home to his doom. He came home in a jolly mood, only to get confronted by his wife, whom he had fooled for so long. He could not believe the things that she was telling him, and he immediately starts to lie through his teeth. But as soon as we showed our faces and told him about the plan, he had to admit to everything. Surprisingly, he did not give up and starts to cry and begged for forgiveness. But Erie had played too many of his mind games and immediately kicked him out to the curb with all of his stuff. In the end, he had to leave, and from what I heard, after failing to convince her, he ran back to his home city. Erie has applied for a divorce and is very sad about everything. We've been trying our best to cheer her up. I don't know how long it's going to take, but she's going to be fine. And I'm very happy that we managed to pull this off. Obviously, none of it would have been possible without you and your help, so thank you.